Welcome in. There we go. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel. You got to click the bell icon for notifications, like when I go live randomly on a Saturday at 5:37 Eastern Standard Time. Let's fucking go M786WP. You know, at some point, if you're willing to divulge, I would be very interested. That's a very unique name, and I'm going to venture to say that there's some significance behind the numbers and the letters. So if you want to share at some point, I would be very curious, M786WP. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on the TradingView, even the Instagram, where I do some gym motivation stuff. One word, it is a Crypto Bull God. Hell of a day yesterday, right, guys? Hell of a day yesterday. By the way, cheers. It is, it's Saturday. It's happy hour time. I am having an old-fashioned, my favorite drink, Cheers Pop-Up. I have not had this, and I haven't had an old-fashioned in a very long time. I mean, it's been months, literally, so very good. Haven't had one in a long time. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. It's nice and dreary and rainy in South Florida, and as soon as I leave this week, looks like we're gonna have beautiful weather. By the way, just as a sort of a heads up, and I'll mention this kind of throughout the week. This week, I have a lot of different things going on this month. You know, summertime, you're traveling. I have some personal trips coming up. I have some business trips coming up. There's really a lot going on in the month of July, so there will be some days where, you know, I'm not going to be available for the live stream. There might be an odd time during the day where I'm going to attempt a live stream, which wouldn't run consistent with the times that I generally live stream during the week. So just make sure that you really do. You hit the appreciate the support, by the way, on the thumbs up, likes. Make sure that you really do click the bell icon and you put all for notifications, because especially for this month, I'm going to be challenged in making sure that I find the time to try to live stream. I think I'm going to be on a plane several times this month. I'm going to be traveling, road trips, plane trips, a lot of trips. So, all right. With that being said, you know, I chose to hold off on live streaming to do today because I felt that there was a good probability or possibility that we would continue to see bullish action in the price market. As it stands right now, if we look at the market right now, we're just seeing some minor pullbacks, which is healthy, guys. When I'll explain. Some healthy pullback and some healthy consolidation here. What I'm loving to see right now, I will tell you, is that Bitcoin with this huge move up, as I suspected, we have remained very strong, and we've remained in particular above a psychological level of $30,000, okay? The only reason I'm excited about the fact that it has stayed above 30,000 is because it's a psychological level. Now, if you go back on Twitter, I want to, and we spoke about this on the live stream. Actually, I took a look at it on the 12-hour, but I thought that the 4-hour showed better context on this. This was a bull flag, and this is the pattern depending on when you break up. That's where you put the arrow. Approximately $35,000. Actually, where we broke up, it puts it a little higher than $35,000. You can see that yesterday we were seeing this breakup, right? Now, what I want to explain when you draw a pattern like that, when you have a bull flag present like that, prices, I want to be clear about this. It doesn't mean that as soon as we break, like we definitively did, it doesn't mean, welcome in, Kathleen, glad to see you. It doesn't mean that when we break here, we're going to see a straight shot up. What you really want to watch for, the main thing you want to watch for, of course, you also want to watch for negative divergences, okay, on the RSI. But one of the main things you want to watch for is the volume. You want to see a big green candle come in, and that first candle that sort of breaks out, you want to see the volume and you want to see a lot of strength behind it. That's what we saw. So right now what I have drawn on here, this is actually a 6-hour chart. That's just the chart that I prefer at the moment. You can see that we broke out, and now once again we're consolidating, okay? And it actually looks like, now that I'm looking at this, I mean, to me, it looks like we could be in somewhat of a falling wedge. In any event, what you want to see from prices to feel further convicted that we're going to hit this 35,000 plus price target, you just want to make sure we're not making any significant dips down below here, right? You just want to make sure that we continue moving up and eventually hit the $35,000 area. Now, this is the technical target based on the bull flag to hit just over $35,000, right? If we actually let's redraw the target together and kind of take a look at it. But what I was going to say is it's not like we're going to hit that target and then roll over. That's just an initial target. What it does from there, we have to reassess the charts, okay? Whoops, sorry to hear. We have to reassess the charts, but that's just an initial target. So since we broke out here, what we want to do is we want to put it right there. And as you can see, that puts us at basically the same target, 35,200, okay? So 35,000 is the general target. If we go back to the 12-hour chart, you guys know that we focus a lot on the 12-hour chart. What I love to see in this chart, again, this could not have worked out any more bullish. And if you don't know why I'm focusing on the 12-hour chart and you're newer to the channel, you can take a look at, there's an old video from back in 2021, the Bitcoin chart that no one is discussing. It has the most views of any video I've ever created. Take a look at that. Gives you some historical context, why this chart is important. But also make sure that you keep coming back for the live streams, because you will see that I continue to reiterate the 12-hour chart, the significance behind it, and once in a while I do a review of why it is statistically significant. Again, I'm an emotional individual, but no emotional interjection here. That's not what I do. When I'm reading a chart and I'm sharing the information with you guys, you know that it's all based on probabilities. That's all I'm doing. It's no certainties. There's no emotions. It's just I'm telling you what is most and least likely in my educated and informed opinion. So if we look at the price indicators here on the 12-hour, nothing overly concerning. I don't have the stochastic RSI up, just the MACD and the RSI. Everything's looking good. This RSI up here is a little overheated, especially in a historical context. So, wouldn't be surprised, on a 12-hour basis, let this thing kind of cool off, maybe get down to these low 70s or high 60s. I would not be surprised one bit on the 12-hour, since we're looking at this on a 12-hour. I wouldn't be surprised to just kind of see, it's just kind of consolidate in this area and then eventually move up, right? Let's go back to the 6-hour. The other thing I wanted to take a look at with you guys, this is something I had tweeted out, and I'm just seeing the resemblance in terms of corrections. Again, these things don't have to look exactly the same. They just have to rhyme. You can see the consolidation here, the inverse head and shoulders, the consolidation here, the drop, the consolidation, the move up, consolidation here, the drop, the move up, consolidation, the move up, consolidation. It looks like we're starting to break out of this orange box here. So if we do have some sort of a similar move, and again, I just took this, all I did just to kind of put this in context here, I can recreate this. You do what's known as a bars pattern, okay? So I think I might have stopped it right about there, right? So if we get some sort of similar movement, that's how I got it, essentially. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Now, I'm not telling you that Bitcoin is going to top in November, right? My primary hypothesis still, and I want to see how the month of June closes, my hypothesis is Bitcoin is going to have a blow-off top this year in the year 2023. I am willing to revisit that, and I've been very open about that maybe I'm a few months off, and it's early 2024. Maybe I'm off by 4 or 5 months. But I really do feel convicted in the pattern, the broader pattern that has played out here in terms of the Elliott wave structure and this expanded flat correction. That I feel very convicted on. There's several other charts that we've covered here, which I'm not going to rehash, that I feel convicted on. And I'm just basing it on probabilities. What's up, YC? I just saw you. I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? YC, how are you doing? How are you doing this fine weekend? I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fucking fantastic. And the other thing that I wanted to express to you, and I can tell based on others I've interacted with, here's the thing. you have to keep in mind, and I think sometimes you may forget this as the viewer. I know I do, and I have to take a step back and remind myself. This right here, okay, this is a small space. This thing right here, that's a nice photo. This right here, okay, I wish that was me right now on a boat with a beautiful woman. That sounds fantastic. I wish that was me. Anyway, don't feel sad for me. I'm okay. So anyway, that community, the crypto, what I'm trying to get at is crypto Twitter is a very small community, okay? Very small community. And what we have to understand is those individuals represent the minority, okay, first and foremost. Secondly, what you have to ask yourself is if you were on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, you're on social media with people who are predominantly, appreciate the support on the channel, guys, with the thumbs up. Very, very nice. The other thing that you have to ask yourself is be honest with yourself, okay? Just be honest with yourself, and I'll give you my assessment. What are the majority of people saying? Do you know what the majority of people are saying? Let me show you. Oh, you can see everybody I'm following. Of course, you could see this anyway. This guy's fucking hilarious. I haven't seen him on in a long time. Here we go. Stock Money Lizards, okay? Now, I think he puts out some I think Stock Money Lizards does a nice job. First and foremost, I want to say this, okay? This isn't me picking on this individual. That's not what I'm about to do, okay? I think that it is healthy to disagree. I think it's very healthy to disagree. When I read his charts, I think it comes from a place of logic. I think he puts logical content out there. I don't see anything he tweets about that is nonsensical or hypey. No, I think he does a good job, hence why I'm following him, okay? I appreciate his content. But what I'm attempting to illustrate here from Stock Money Lizards is this, okay? He, like the majority of people, believes, and maybe this chart will, yes, this is a great chart right here. You see how he's saying the pre-halving target is 50,000? What he's attempting to illustrate here is that we are at a period of time, he's illustrating it right down here, we are at a period of time that is similar to 2019, and I have been so goddamn adamant about it not being 2019. I disagree with him. Could this individual, could Stock Money Lizards and the rest of the people that feel similar to him or the same, could they be correct? Yes. But what I'm noticing is people are hyper-focused on one chart in terms of how price has played out over a 4-year time horizon surrounding the halving, that what they're doing is you have kind of two camps. You have the educated people who are just focused on that chart. They can read charts, okay? They're TA people. They read that one chart and they forget all about technical analysis in terms of viewing all the other charts. They're operating in a silo environment. I acknowledge some of the charts these people have put out, and there's some credence to that. I've never said otherwise. But my opinion is for the educated people, remember there's two camps. For the camp that is educated, you have a camp who is very siloed. They're looking at one chart and that's it. And I think they're throwing technical analysis out the door, and I think it's going to come back to bite them. Now, you have a second camp. These are really the herd, okay? These are the people who are uneducated, okay? And what they do is they gravitate and latch on. I tweeted something out about how people, and I asked ChatGPT, I gave its response. People have an innate, many people, not everyone, but many people have an innate, something inherent within them that they want to flock to a herd sentiment, a mentality. It's something about human beings that they want to feel included. They don't want to be proven to be wrong. They want to be part of a group. And so these people flock to large followers on Twitter and YouTube that are saying the same thing. They're not educated on charts. They're saying, yeah, the halving it totally makes sense. And so I believe the 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 4-year cycle. It's all you hear about. So what I'm saying is this here, or something that resembles something close to it. Again, maybe we do something like this. Maybe we run into the halving, okay? Which, by the way, and I've said this, I believe I believe, based on what's being put out there, no matter how this plays out, I think the halving is going to be a sell the news event. I believe that very firmly, okay? Maybe we expand out. And I've also been on record to say, hey, if I am proven to be incorrect and we don't do this, okay, we don't do this, okay? Do you notice how when I'm expanding it here, how I'm putting the price up? That's intentional. I have spoken so many times on this channel about having a runway, okay? The longer the runway you have to create that parabola, the higher the potential price, okay? If we had started running harder sooner here, maybe we could get a blow off top this year, but it probably would have topped a lot lower, right? I really like the way price has been consolidating and moving up really steady. At some point, we're just going to start entering a parabola, okay? But if this thing extends out, let's say, right now I'm looking at things and saying, October is a possibility, but I'm leaning more towards November, right? But let's say I'm incorrect, I'm off by 4 or 5 months, and this thing bleeds into March or April, right? And we start going into the halving. Well, now we've allotted for 4 to 5 more months for price to appreciate in value, okay? It should be intuitive thinking about that. If there's 4 or 5 months longer for price to appreciate, there's more possibility. There's a greater potential for Bitcoin to hit a higher all-time high. Maybe we don't hit 120 or 130,000, excuse me, like I believe we will. That's sort of the sweet spot for me. Maybe if we go an extra 4 or 5 months, maybe we hit something higher. Maybe we hit 150,000. Okay, I want to be realistic with what I really think it could top at. But maybe we go 10 or 20% higher. Okay, so I think that's something to keep in mind, and hopefully all that kind of resonated with you. Now, speaking of when Bitcoin could top, I want to kind of tie this back to this chart here, and it's very, very important. Okay, very, very important that at this stage of the live stream that you really pay close attention to what I'm going to share with you. Okay, because if what I'm about to share with you makes sense, then you should understand. And again, never financial advice, okay? But you should understand under different interest rate environments, when we're pausing or hiking or decreasing, what it means for equity and crypto, okay? And I want to clearly point this out here, and you should be able to do with this what you will. This should be another tool in your arsenal at your disposal so that you can kind of decide how you want to handle when there is a change in interest rate environments. Because remember, we just paused. Let's see the comments here. Nick! Everybody, we got to pump Nick's bags. Brother, I figured you out so easily on Twitter because as soon as I saw that comment, as soon as I saw pump my bags, I was like, oh, that's Nick. Thank you. Is it Havid? Havid Ali? Havid. Am I getting too technical with the name? But I think it's Havid. Thank you, brother. -4 thumbs up so far. -4. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone new tuning in. Hit the thumbs up. If you hide the chat, you can give a thumbs up. Guys, for those new tuning in, we're about to cover the most important chart that I wanted to cover in the entire live stream. So at least I would suggest hanging around until I get done covering this chart. Now, here is the legend key. You know when you put a chart together, you create a legend key? Orange is a federal, okay, and we're looking at federal funds rate here. We looked at this before, right? An orange horizontal line means that the Federal Reserve has paused interest rates, okay, which is the point we're at now. Red means that the Federal Reserve has signaled that they're going to decrease interest rates. The green horizontal line indicates that the Federal Reserve has ceased decreasing rates, and they've ceased decreasing rates, and purple is signaling that the Federal Reserve is beginning to increase rates. Now, the purple is not shown for a reason. When I had the purple on here, I felt like this chart was getting too busy. I think the most important thing for the purposes of our conversation, and I think you would agree with me on this, is to understand where are we at today and what is most likely moving forward. And what we're going to do for that information is we're going to look at the prior 3 times in history. And is it prior 3 times? Yes. We're going to take a look at the prior 3 times in history we were at a similar point in time as of today. And that is the orange horizontal line. The orange horizontal line is at a point Let me explain this very clearly. After the Federal Reserve was done increasing rates, so we've gone through a period where they've increased rates and now they've paused. Okay, now they've paused. Now, each of the three prior times, what has happened after a Fed rate pause has been a decrease in interest rates. Again, it doesn't matter what someone is telling you. It doesn't matter what the chairman is telling you, okay? There are plenty of times you can go back in history, and whether you look at what's going on in the UK, when they indicated they were going to stop increasing interest rates to, like, I think 2025, and then they started increasing rates at an astronomical rate, and that's a shit show in the UK. Same thing here. The Federal Reserve signaled they didn't see rate increases coming for the foreseeable future, and then we started increasing rates at a historical rate. So I would not, and I've said this so many times before in the past week and a half, I would offer you this suggestion: look at data. Don't listen to someone's words. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in. Yeah, hide the chat, give a thumbs up. Appreciate the support. I would suggest that you look at hard data. The data is telling you, based on on past history, what is most likely going to happen. If you want to listen to people, go for it. I'm just giving you a suggestion as a data scientist guy. Okay, I'm a math guy. I'm an actuary. This is what I do. Okay, you can tell me everything you want to tell me. It's like, think about it this way. If you were, hypothetically, if you were in a dysfunctional relationship and this person said that they were going to be different again, they were going to be different. They weren't going to be mentally unstable, and they wouldn't do the things they did in the past. But then it happened again, and it happened again, and it happened again, right? Shouldn't you rely on history to tell you that there's probably like a 95% chance that they're going to tell me this thing in this moment, and it's just not going to hold true, right? Shouldn't you use history to tell you that, right? Or do you really want to go out on a limb and believe and trust someone to see if they're going to be different the fifth time around? Up to you, okay? So in this case, right now, what I'm signaling here, and we'll get to these horizontal lines here in a moment, this orange horizontal line representing and this is a 2-week chart, by the way, I should signal this. This is a 2-week chart on the NASDAQ, okay? What's up, Nick? Japanese tourists. Okay, this is a 2-week chart. And this candlestick represents the time frame where the Federal Reserve indicated that they were going to pause interest rates. So now what I want to do, why thank you, Donna. You are learning a lot from my discussions. Well, ding, ding, ding. Chicken wait. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Have you hit the thumbs up? Donna Perry, did you hit the thumbs up? You got to hit the thumbs up. Hide the chat. Hit the thumbs up. All right. So right now, in the beginning of June, we're at a period of time where the Federal Reserve has indicated we're pausing interest rates. Now, I know the federal chairman is saying they're anticipating 2 more hikes this year, right? I say bullshit. I'm calling his bluff, okay? And I don't even want to go into the fundamentals that I've spoken to about how there's a lot of zombie banks out there that are literally insolvent. They have so many unrealized losses, okay? Let's not even go down that path, all right? Let's just stick to the charts. Yeah, he's going to increase interest rates even though all these banks are going to go under. I hear you. So here we are. We've paused interest rates. Now the question we want to ask ourselves is, when the Federal Reserve has paused interest rates in the past, what has happened? Well, we paused interest rates here at this point in time. Okay? If we flash forward from March 19 all the way to September 19, in September 19, in the beginning of September 19, the Federal Reserve signaled we're decreasing interest rates. Okay? Now this is very important that you understand this. I want you to understand not just what the Federal Reserve signaled, but what was the reaction from what happened in the market. Was the market bullish or bearish after this had been reported? So at this point in time, in early September of 2019, when the Federal Reserve said, hey, we're decreasing interest rates, look what happened. We went up a little, and then we fell apart. We fell apart, and this was the beer virus. By the way, if you want to tell me this was a black swan event, part of me agrees with you, but part of me also disagrees with you. If you study the repo market, you knew that there were things going on behind the scenes in mid to late 2019 that gave you a precursor to this, that there was something brewing, something bad was about to happen, right? So, again, two things to take away from this. Number one, when we paused, the next action by the Federal Reserve was not to increase, it was to decrease interest rates. We decreased, looks like 6 months later. After 6 months, what happened in the market? It went up a little bit, and then we had a monumental decrease and freaked everyone out. I was buying crypto massively in this area. I was buying the fuck out of crypto. I couldn't thank my fingers for moving fast enough, all right? Now, what does the green horizontal line indicate? This indicates that we were pausing the decline in interest rates. As soon as we paused again, you can see that the market continued going higher for a period of time. Okay, now, let's go back in time for the second occurrence. In July of 2006, this is when the Federal Reserve paused interest rate hikes, similar to the time we are at today. Let's fast forward 11 months. 11 months later, in August of 2007, the Federal Reserve announced that they were decreasing interest rates. Again, the next action after a pause, which was 11 months later, was not an increase in rates, it was a decrease in rates. As soon as the decrease was announced, look what happened. The market continued moving. You can see we continued moving higher here during the pause. We continued moving higher for several weeks, and then we sharply sold off, okay? This was the great financial crisis, okay? CBG was just a young buck going through the student program, studying his actuarial exams, getting credentialed as an actuary, okay? CBG was protected, thankfully, by the student program. It didn't have any job security issues. A lot of people lost jobs, okay? The point is, after the rate decrease was signaled, very shortly thereafter, there was a monumental decrease in the stock market, okay? Now, this is the time period where we paused the decrease in rates, and you can see we started moving up. All right, one more time. Let's go back in time. Now, this one's interesting. In this case, in June of 2000, this is the dot-com bubble. In June of 2000, after the market had topped, you can see that we paused increasing rates. This is what the orange line signifies, similar to where we were at today. 6 months later, in December of 2000, we signaled a decrease of interest rates. Okay, so again, once again, 3 for 3. The next action after a Fed pause in interest rates, decrease. And look what happened to the market. We actually started going down before the decrease. We had already topped over here. We continued to decrease. We decreased monumentally in the stock market before, again, this is the signaling of the pause, no more decreases, and then we continued going up. There's a couple things that I personally would take away from this. First off, a couple key takeaways, okay? And I probably should have jotted the key takeaways down. Well, let me jot the key takeaways we can take from these three occurrences. Number one, let's zoom out here. Number one, of the three past occurrences when the Federal Reserve has paused interest rate increases, the next action was a decrease in interest rates. That is number one. Number two, a decrease in interest rates occurred anywhere between when the Fed had signaled that. We stayed paused for any time between 6 to 11 months. So in between 6 to 11 months in these three occurrences, we remained paused, and then we started decreasing afterwards, interest rates. That's point number two. Point number three, there was not a single time of these three events, and I just chose these three events. We could go further back in time, and you'd find very similar things. There was not a single time where when the Fed indicated a pause in interest rates, sometimes there was a lag, okay? We went up a little here. Sometimes we had already topped, okay? Little lag here. We continue to go up a little here. But every single time. It was a warning shot. When the Federal Reserve indicates that they're decreasing interest rates, equity markets eventually, even if there's a lag in time by several weeks, a couple months, there is a significant drop in equity markets, and crypto is not going to be immune to that, guys. How many times have I signaled to you? How many times have I signaled to you the positive correlation which exists between equity markets and crypto? We've looked at it in detail in prior live streams. You got to go back to those live streams, okay? Crypto is a risk-on asset. No one wants to touch crypto if it's not a risk-on environment. Well, how do we know if it's a risk-on environment? It's a risk-on environment. Investors are willing to take more risk and throw their money in the stock market, retail investors included, okay? When the stock market's doing well, no one wants to miss out on the stock market. Shit, the stock market's going up. I'm smart. I'm just going to throw all my money in these stocks and crypto. I know what I'm doing. That's when it's a risk-on environment, right? That's when things become frothy and the smart money begins taking money off the table, okay? There's smart money and there's not smart money, okay? There's one more key point I would make from this, okay? And one could argue it could be at the point we're at within the cycle of the stock market, but regardless, it's a key item. At any point when we had it, look, at any point when we signaled a decrease in interest rates, okay? I should signal, it's probably better to signal it this way. Between the pause and the decrease, at any points between the orange and the red lines, do you see the stock market making a new all-time high? So that is one tidbit of information that flies in the face of me saying the stock market is going to make new all-time highs this year, at latest next year, but I believe this year the stock market is going to make new all-time highs. This is the NASDAQ, okay? That's one thing that flies in the face of that. I still believe that based on where we're at, we are going to make new all-time highs in the stock market, but we'll have to see what happens. Maybe we get a double top. There's all sorts of probabilities. Now, this is very important also if you followed everything that I said, okay? What I'm projecting here is when the Federal Reserve is going, and I want you to listen to what the red horizontal lines indicate and then what the key takeaway is, okay? I'm not telling you what to do. I've never told you guys what to do. This is not financial advice. And I'll get to the comments in a moment. I see you're back with pump my back. So I'll get to the comments in a moment, but it's very important that you understand what a key takeaway from this is, what this analysis is, and then you decide what to do with this, okay? And I'll tell you what I discern from this and what my opinion is. I understand that I have a thesis, okay, about this, or maybe we do this, okay? That is my main hypothesis. Unless if something materially changes, that is my main hypothesis. Well, unless something materially changes. The question is, what happens if the Fed signals a rate decrease and Bitcoin's sitting at $60,000? I'm going to be a lot more leery about Bitcoin going to 100,000 plus. And I'll tell you why. Because, again, every time we have signaled a rate decrease, the market has turned over, okay? So, a couple things to take away from this. First off, what are these red horizontal lines? I have a red horizontal line in December, at the beginning of December of 23, and a red horizontal line in the beginning of July of 2024. These represent the ranges. When we look at the past three events, when the Federal Reserve has signaled a rate decrease, remember, it was between 6 to 11 months after we paused. 6 to 11 months projected out from our pause at the current state in June is between December and July of 2024, okay? So I've signaled the range here. Based on the prior three occurrences, what I'm telling you is I believe there's a very high likelihood that what's going to happen is the Federal Reserve is going to signal a decrease. No increases, guys. No, again, there is a probability that there's going to be an increase in Fed rates, but it's very low. We've already talked about this. My money, my bet, and I would be willing to put money on this, okay? The Federal Reserve will signal a decrease in interest rates sometime between December of 2023 this year and July of 2024. Now, obviously, based on a sample size of 3, there's a high level of variability with that, right? And if I'm losing you in statistical mumbo jumbo, just follow me. I'll translate it in layman's terms. Because there's not many occurrences, there's a lot more variability with it, right? It's not like I'm looking at 100 events. I'm looking at 3 events, right? So there's a lot more variability with that. It's not what we call in statistics statistically significant, okay? So maybe we pause a month or 2 earlier. Maybe we pause in November. Maybe we pause in October. Maybe we pause in August way out here or September of 2024. I'm very open to that idea. But what I'm attempting to do based on the past 3 occurrences is create a range. And I think that's very logical. Thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Hit the thumbs up. You got to hide the comments. What's the dotted line? What's going on with the dotted line? Well, I'm sure you could probably guess this. The dotted line is simply a straight average. I'm just taking the 3 occurrences, I'm taking an average and saying, okay, well, the average is, it looks like February of 24, okay? But the main point is, what I take away from this, what I personally take away is, and I'd give a 2-month, I'm going to throw out a 2-month deviation, okay? So really, anytime between October of 2023 and September of 2024, I anticipate the Federal Reserve to decrease interest rates. And I'd be willing to bet it's going to be on the earlier side of that, okay? I'd be willing to bet it's going to be somewhere in this area. Somewhere in this area is where we're going to decrease. Now, that's key takeaway number 1. Key takeaway number 2. Based on history, we know, and this is the most important point, based on history, we know there isn't favorable responses from equity markets when we have decreased interest rates. So the other thing I'm going to be very keenly aware of is, where is crypto at? Where is the stock market at when we announce these decreases in interest rates? Okay? I can say I'm hopeful. I am hopeful, and there's a lag. It's not like, and if you followed what I'm saying, it's not like if we go up to these levels here and we announce a decrease in interest rate, the stock market's just going to start plummeting down. If you followed my entire analysis, no. Sometimes we've peaked before the pause. Sometimes we've peaked before the decrease. Sometimes we've continued up and then started to decrease after the decrease in interest rates. But I do plan to use this information to discern where crypto and equity markets are at. And you guys know, look, I'm live streaming every day. So I'm going to be transparent with you in my views on the markets. But there's a possibility this could change my opinion in terms of where crypto's going. Okay? So at the very least, I will tell you this. At the very least, when the Federal Reserve announces that they're decreasing interest rates, I'm going to start to be a lot more conservative with my viewpoints. Okay? I don't know if that means taking 30% off the table based on where we're at, starting to take 20 or 30% of my crypto off the table into cash. I don't know what that means today, but I'm at least saying to you, the data suggests to me that when we pause, look, again, just to reiterate, not when we pause, excuse me, after we start to decrease after a pause, yes, we can go up, sharp decline. Here, yes, we can go up for a little bit, sharp decline for a couple of years. Here, we've already topped. We already started declining, and we'll just continue declining. So I see this data and I say, look, when the Federal Reserve starts announcing their decreasing rates, I'm going to be a lot more conservative with how I'm looking at things. And you guys, in my opinion, not financial advice, it would well suit you to be as well. You have to be open to the idea, and maybe things will line up. The way I look at things, based on this Elliott wave structure, based on everything I've signaled to you, all these charts we've looked at, I still think that things are going to line up in a way, whether we top this year, whether we top next year, I still think things are going to line up where, again, I have the top, let's just say we top in February, and the Federal Reserve, let's say, announces, where are we at? Let's say the Federal Reserve, let's draw this again. Let's say we top in December, okay? And the Federal Reserve announces right at the beginning of December a rate decrease. I still think things are going to line up. I still believe the way I'm looking at these charts, I still think things are going to line up such that we're topping some point near the rate decrease announcement, and then we start getting the lower lows and lower highs. Maybe we get a little bit of a pop going into the halving, but eventually, I mean, it's a sell the news event. I think no matter how, also I've reiterated this, I think no matter how everything lays out, the halving, however you want to pronounce it, in my opinion, that is going to be the sell the news event. Guys, thumbs up. Hide the chat and give a thumbs up. I would appreciate the support. Look, thumbs up if you love CBG. Does everyone here love me? Then if you would give a thumbs up. Like I said, I need a little bit of love in my life. I don't have a lot of love in my life right now. I need a little bit of love. I'm a little desperate for love. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's see. What comments do we have here? What do we got? What was that? Nick, basically what you're saying is that Jerome Powell is about to pump my bags with a turbo mega pump. Turbo mega pump! Yes. The other thing that was pretty apparent in most of those scenarios is when the Federal Reserve does pause interest rates, equities continue to run. And this is why I said to you guys, and I spoke to this on Koosh. If you're not following Koosh on, you can go to my followers. Go to who I follow and look up Koosh. I appreciate that guy. Really nice guy. Does some good sound technical analysis. He holds a Twitter Spaces. If you want to join us, by the way, Twitter Spaces on Thursday evenings. It's something I'm going to build regularly into my weekly schedule. Something I said on that Twitter Spaces was that this is perfect. The Federal Reserve pausing interest rates at this point, to me, builds even more credence to the notion that equities and crypto are just going to continue to run. I don't see the Federal Reserve decreasing interest rates over the course of the next month or two. Maybe it's as early as 3 months, but it gives enough time for crypto and equities to run. And if we look at the NASDAQ for a moment, this is, you can see I got a double vertical line, not vertical. Did I call these horizontal lines? I think the entire live stream I've been calling these horizontal lines. Guys, this is vertical. Christ, you got to start doubting my logic and my intelligence if I'm calling these horizontal lines. These are what are known as vertical lines. These horizontal lines here, I have double bars here. This is a major area of resistance. When you start to see daily and weekly closes getting above roughly 15,400 on the NASDAQ, guys, we're either going to double top. We're either going to double top up in this area towards 16,700, okay? In my opinion, we're going to either double top or we're creating new all-time highs like I believe we're going to, okay? Again, you have to understand, and I know it's really hard to probably remember this, but before the year started, let me ask you a question. Can you remember what it was like in the fourth quarter of 2022? Christ, crypto was dead. I created a video on Bitcoin. When the hell did I create this video? Guys, go to my channel real quick. Open up another tab and go to my channel. If you go to my channel, you will see that I created a video. It's called The Death of Bitcoin and Crypto, and I created that video in December 17th of 2022. And I'm trolling the people who are calling Bitcoin dead. It's a very good video. It's got a decent amount of views for the amount of people who are subscribed here. But the point is, if you go back to the fourth quarter of 2022, crypto was dead. Equity markets were going to fucking roll over. We were headed into a massive recession. And what was I telling you if you've been here? What was I telling you? I was telling you that Bitcoin was going to create new all-time highs in 2023. And the same with equity markets. And what have we done? I continued to talk about 43.25 on the S&P, and we broke that, and we stayed above it, right? That's the big level that I wanted to see break, right? Everybody else was talking about blah, 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 blah. Sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times, it pays off to go against the herd. It pays off to have a contrarian view if it's well-founded on education. I didn't come out here and I didn't share a view with you based on, well, I just want to go against the grain. That is, I will say, even since being a child, my mother could attest to this. Even since being a child, I would always challenge authority and go against the grain. That's just who I am. But I didn't spit a narrative out there just to be contrarian. I spit a narrative out there because it's what I saw in the charts. Again, and I continue to tell this to you on this channel. What is the name of my live stream? What in the hell is the name of my live stream? All in the charts, right? So I understand. I completely understand. I got this wrong. This correction, this expanded ABC flat correction, I got it wrong. Guess what, guys? I got this right. I sure as hell got this right because I was buying sure as fuck. So I got this right, I got this right, I got this right, and I got this wrong, okay? You got good calls, you got bad calls. I'm fucking 3 for 4, and I'm willing to bet on myself through education and knowledge, all right? Just because, and you can tell the emotion is I'm getting a little heated right now. Just because I got this shit wrong doesn't invalidate myself as a logical and educated individual, just like many of the other. And there are several other individuals out there who are equally as logical, intelligent, and well-versed in technical analysis, and much more well-versed in technical analysis, quite frankly, than me. There's plenty of people out there I follow who are much more technical in reading charts than me. And they've remained grounded. They've remained unemotional. The worst thing you can do during a period like this is give up on yourself and get emotional. Let's reassess the charts. I was wrong. What can I learn from this experience? What did I get wrong? Now, this doesn't change the fact that I'm educated and I'm intelligent. It just means that, hindsight 2020, I was wrong. I didn't get this call correctly. There were certain things I didn't pay attention to enough. You learn from it, you move forward. That is what individuals do in life who are successful. People who are successful in life, they learn from the mistakes they make. They view it as a setback. There are no failures. I've said this on this channel. I have not had one single failure in my life. I've had setbacks. That is a fucking mindset. I tell people this all the time at the gym when they're going through something. You have setbacks in life. Pick yourself up. Don't play a violin from yourself. Learn from it. Move forward. That is what I did in this environment, and I am so thankful that I stuck with myself. How has my crypto portfolio changed in the past year and a half? Well, I can tell you from looking at the paper gains, yes, monetarily, my portfolio is down pretty goddamn significant. But the other thing I would throw onto that is the positions that I hold have increased monumentally in value, meaning the amount of tokens that I hold has increased substantially. So I have the opportunity, if my education pays off and I'm correct, that we're going to hit all-time highs at latest by early 2024. To those who are patient and educated, reap the rewards. We will see. I have a lot of goals for myself, and I hope in life that you have a lot of goals for yourself as well. It's what should drive you as an individual. I have a lot of high expectations for myself and a lot of goals, okay? And I absolutely refuse to accept that because I was wrong during this, that I'm going to be wrong forever. Fuck no. I've been successful, and I will be successful again. That is my mindset, and that is what needs to be your mindset to be successful in life. Let's see what comments we have. Thumbs up. Thumbs up if you love BB. Where the hell's Jorge at? That's Jorge's line. Where the hell's Jorge at? Jorge, I'm calling you out. Come on, you got nothing... Jorge, do you really expect me to believe, in all seriousness, Jorge, do you really expect me to believe that on a Saturday night you're with a lady right now? I don't believe it. I'm not seeing it, man. I'm not seeing it. You're like me. You're geeking out right now. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're watching Star Trek. Maybe you're playing some video games. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're not too far off from me. That's why I'm calling you out, Jorge. Kathleen. Appreciate it. One thing I want to call out to that real quick. By the way, M786WP, are you willing to share why your name is what it is? Because I don't think you shared that. If you don't want to, it's fine. Class is in session. Everyone shut the fuck up and let's fucking go. I love it. The only reason I bring up the fact that I am an actuary, I'm an FSA, I'm a fellow of the Society of Actuaries, the only reason I bring that up is because I do want my audience to understand my professional background. Being an actuary does not translate one-to-one to being a TA person, but there are certain skill sets and certain things that you can infer because I'm an actuary that should play out as being a TA person, if that makes sense. I'm very level-headed. I'm very grounded. Obviously, I have to be somewhat intelligent and smart to become an FSA. There's not many actuaries out there, right? I have to be analytical. I have to be very data-minded, very unemotional with evaluating data at work. So a lot of these things translate to being a TA person. It's just like I try to tell people, I am fucking very fired up today, Kathleen. I am. Because I'm very convicted. I believe in myself, and I believe in my view of the markets. And until proven otherwise, I am very fired up. I try to share with people, too, I was telling somebody today, you can't judge a book by its cover. It's funny. I tell people, if somebody just saw me in the gym and they never talked to me, they didn't know who I was, I get it. They look at me and they think I'm a douchebag. I totally understand that. I look like I could be a douchebag. But the reality is you can't judge a book by its cover. And also the reality is there's a lot of skill sets. You know, I've been weight training for so long now. It's arguably the largest passion of my life. There are so many skill sets that you develop from weight training and remaining convicted to sticking with a program and bettering yourself physically that pay off in your professional and personal life. You know, when I think about, like, I'll tell you real quick, if you guys are willing to stick with me for a moment here. I'll tell you the difference between my mom and my dad, one of the key differences. But I love my mom and dad very much. I don't create any distinction. My mom and dad are like one person to me. I love them equally, right? But they express their love in different ways, right? My mom, when I was going through my actuarial exams, the first exam I ever took, the very first exam, I failed it. I'll tell you this. I failed it 3 times in a row. Not only did I fail it 3 times in a row, but you study 500, I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not stuttering when I say this. I studied around 500 hours for one exam. I want you to think about that. So I studied around 500 hours for each sitting. That's 1,500 hours in general, in total. And not only did I fail it 3 times in a row, but I got 3 5s. Now, for those who are familiar with the actuarial exams, you know what that means. But for those, I'm guessing probably 11 of you don't know what that means. You get scored between a 0 and a 10. 0 to 5 is failure. 6 to 10 is passing. It doesn't matter what score you get. You just want to pass. It doesn't matter if you get a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. You just want to pass. I got a 5. I was 1 score away from passing 3 fucking times in a row. Do you know what my mom said to me after I failed the 3rd time? And I know it came from a place of love. I understand that. She just was concerned about me. She said, CBG, almost said my name there. She said, CBG, I just don't like you. Maybe this just isn't for you. Maybe this just isn't for you. I'm like, Mom, like, this is not what I want to hear right now. Like, please. I just love you and care about you, and I just don't want to see you, trying so hard and not succeeding at something. Guys, if I ever have children, one of the things I want to see them do in life, I want to see them not succeed at something, because that is where character is forged in life. Things are not handed to you. If you want something in life, you got to earn it, and things do not go according to plan. I have earned every goddamn thing I have in this life. Okay? Every fucking thing I've earned. And I appreciated what my mom was saying because it came from a place of love. And when my dad didn't say this, or I don't recall him saying this, he's a man of few words, my dad's response would be very similar to mine. I know what my dad's response would be. Son, if you want to earn that, if you really want this, then I support you, and you just have to keep pushing. You got to keep working for it. And that is the mentality it takes to succeed in life. You have to be willing to acknowledge you're imperfect, you're a human being, you're not going to succeed the first couple times, but there's 2 ways to look at it. Did you fail, or did you stumble and fall, and are you willing to get back up? I have stumbled and fallen so many times, but I've gotten back up. What happened the 4th sitting when I took that exam? What happened the 4th sitting when I took that exam? I didn't just pass. I got a motherfucking 9. I scored a 9 on my 4th sitting. And do you know what I did? I propelled all the way through to get my associateship. You get something called an ASA before you get your FSA. I got credentialed as an actuary. I only had 1 failed sitting the entire fucking time until I got my ASA. I flew through the exams. 2, bam. 3, I failed it, passed the second time. 4, bam, passed it. I flew through the exams. And then all the modules and the project work. I passed all that on the first attempt. That, in my opinion, is how you succeed in life. If you want something, you got to earn it, guys. I don't come out here, when I share these charts with you, look, I'm fallible. I'm not going to get everything right. I've had some bad calls. I've mentioned sushi swap plenty of times. Bad call. That thing has done horrible, right? But I've had a lot of right calls. And I have spent, and I'm not exaggerating, I have spent thousands, I'm not exaggerating, I have spent thousands of hours studying charts. I went to Clay Trader University, for those familiar. That was my professional trading, stock reading, chart reading class, okay? I'm educated, okay? And I'm doing the best job I can to come out here and share with you what I see in the charts. It's a passion of mine. It's something I feel very convicted about. I don't allow the emotions, and I'm telling you, I will tell you what, during this time period, myself back here, like who I was as a person in 2017 and 16, Christ, more than likely I would have gotten weeded out. I would have gotten weeded out in here. And that's why I'm sympathetic towards you if you're getting emotional. I'm telling you, for your own benefit, don't get emotional. Don't allow that emotion to cloud your intellect. Do your own education and homework. Formulate your investment philosophy based on your hard work, not mine. And use my work and use the work of other trusted technical analysis TA people out there. I use them. I look at what their thought processes are. Evaluate other technicians in this space with your own education. Come to a conclusion on what you want to do and stick with it unless something materially changes. Don't allow a headline out there to deter you. Don't allow Gary Fucktard Gensler and his Napoleon complex syndrome to deter you. It's all a fucking clown circus sideshow. It is. It's a sideshow, guys. It's a goddamn sideshow. When you zoom out and you're not, the thing is, when you're not zoomed in on the daily and you're not paying attention to that, you get so sidetracked looking at this. And then what happens is, when you're able to zoom out, and you see this, I mean, why are you concerned? What if things take longer than you think? What if I am dead wrong? What if I am absolutely dead wrong? Bitcoin has no new all-time highs in 2023 or 24. What if the 4-year cycle maxis are correct and Bitcoin has a high in 25 or even 26? Well, who the fuck cares? I'm still invested in this market. I'm here and I'm willing to learn from that mistake in terms of timing of a top, but long term, I believe in this market monumentally. I'm so passionate about this space. Those closest to me, those ex-girlfriends could validate this. I am monumentally bullish about this space. Do not get shaken out. Maybe that's the only financial advice I would ever offer on this channel. If a regulator wants to come at me, fuck you, you can come at me. The only financial advice I would ever give on this channel is don't get shaken out. Don't allow the legacy media news articles to shake you out. If the legacy news media articles were correct and all your prominent YouTubers were correct, this wasn't the bottom. We were supposed to go down here. We were even supposed to, there were a lot of people who were saying, guys, you know this. Bitcoin was supposed to come all the way down to 10,000. Whoa, what happened here? We got percentages. We don't like that. What the fuck is that all about? All right. If you recall, people were saying Bitcoin was supposed to come all the way down to 10,000 and 5,000. I mean, come on. Like, what the fuck was that all about? Seriously. And the stock market was going to go to a big risk. This is why we follow data, and this is why I bring this to you every week, guys. I hope you appreciate the content. I'm going to be back with you. Let me get to the comments real quick, and then I'm going to probably sign out here. I'm going to be back with you on Monday at normal times. Now, I will say tomorrow on Sunday, real quick, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If something happens on Sunday, and I've said this on prior live streams, if we have an unexpected Saturday or Sunday that is just monumentally bullish, expect me to go on a live stream, unless if I'm just physically incapable because I'm lounging on a beach somewhere on vacation, all right, quite frankly. All right, because I am going on a little bit of a road trip soon. I'm going to enjoy life a little bit. But otherwise, expect me to live stream. So if we have, what I'm trying to say is, and I'll be around tomorrow. If we unexpectedly have a very bullish day tomorrow, expect me to go live tomorrow. So make sure you click the bell icon for notifications. Anything can happen where we're at in this market right now. Things are going to move quickly. M786WP, I'm familiar with the actuarial path. I have a close friend who is an actuary, hence I have a great appreciation for your analysis. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Pressure on coals makes diamonds. I love that, Havid. I love that. Pressure on coals makes diamonds. I like that a lot. Yeah, man. I'll tell you anything if you follow me. I don't know if I think I shared this on Twitter. Every day I walk into my office, I have a Rocky. It's the original. It is the, I'm not going to take it off the wall here, but it is the original from 1977. It's it 76 or 77? I think it's 77. From the original 1977 film, it's Rocky from the movie, the photo where he has his arms raised and he's on top of the stairs at the Philadelphia Museum. That shit is the first thing I see when I walk in my office. It's my favorite movie series of all time, favorite movie of all time. And it's not because it's a boxing match, so it's like a guy thing, but it's the story of it. It's the underdog, right? I appreciate that mentality. I'm somebody who always roots for the underdog. That's the way I've always been. Because in many ways I've viewed myself as an underdog. You know, in many ways I've viewed myself as an underdog in life in general. So I love the underdog mentality and the underdog story. Kathleen, your channel is very authentic. That is why I keep coming back. The honesty is astounding. No hocus pocus. No hocus pocus here, and thank you for the kind comments. I am very authentic in what I'm saying. I've never come out here and lied to anyone. I've never come out here and been disingenuous, just looking to garner clicks or anything like that. And I'm glad you see through that. I appreciate that. Also, very good comment there. Sometimes I don't hear what I want to hear, but that is a good thing. I love it. Yeah, guys, just remain strong and know that if you're early and you're brand new to the market, 3 things I would offer you real quick before I sign out. If you're new to the market, 3 things I would offer you. Number 1, the most important thing in my opinion, take the time to educate yourself. The onus is on you to be successful in investing in this market. Number 2, know that I have your back in terms of providing you my honest, educated, genuine, authentic, as Kathleen says, view. So you can count on me to always provide that to you. And number 3, get out there and identify other people in this space whose opinions you value. I'm not the only value-added technician in this space. There are other good TA people in this space. You need an arsenal. You need additional data points at your disposal. All right? Everyone take care of yourself. Have a good weekend. I'm going to make a few turkey burgers here, saute up some Brussels sprouts. I have barely touched my old-fashioned here because I've been talking so much. I'm going to enjoy the rest of that. This is the only cherry I'm going to be popping tonight. I got a little cherry in there. All right, guys. Well, have yourself a good weekend. And until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. I will see you Monday, but maybe Sunday. We'll see how the market looks tomorrow. All right, guys. Take care of yourself. Have a good weekend.